Hi, my name is Dan Hollingsworth, and in a little bit under a month, I'm going to be going in for reverse total shoulder replacement, and I just wanted to share my journey. I'm going to start with a little bit of my backstory. I'm 52 years old. I'll be 53 in October, which means I'm a little younger than most folks that are going in for this procedure. You'll notice that I have a nice big scar on my shoulder already. Because in December of 2022, I actually had a hemi-arthroplasty, or a partial shoulder replacement. So if we got the ball and socket joint, they replaced this part, the ball. Unfortunately, I didn't achieve the results that we were hoping for with that surgery. You'll notice that my range of motion, my function, it just isn't very good. I have a lot of pain doing that. Passively, I can get a little bit more range of motion, but I definitely feel stuck at that upper part of the range, and there's a fair amount of pain. And so the hope is that this reverse total shoulder replacement will help me regain function. Probably not 100% of my range of motion, certainly not what I have on the left side, but I should regain a fair amount. But I want to start with a little bit of the backstory, like how I ended up here. Like I said, as a 52, almost 53-year-old, otherwise fit, healthy individual. So activities that I have participated in for the last I've done triathlon and endurance sports, cycling, mountain biking, those types of things for the better part of 25 to 30 years. And for the last 15 years, I've been pretty heavily involved in CrossFit, Olympic weightlifting, a little bit of powerlifting. And so shoulder issues haven't been a huge thing for me. I've had a little bit in college. I was doing some dumbbell work, and I felt sort of like what we call a subluxation or a partial dislocation of my shoulder. Did some rehab for that, was fine, and I never really had any significant shoulder issues after that. But in April of 2017, I was performing a CrossFit workout for an online qualifier for the CrossFit Games, and in the middle of my first set of pull-ups, I felt a pop in my shoulder. And I knew in that moment that something wasn't right, but with the adrenaline and everything that was going on, I finished the workout and was able to do so, but legitimately from that day until now, my shoulder has not functioned properly. So given that mechanism of injury, that pop while doing pull-ups, I was pretty sure that I had a rotator cuff or biceps tendon, or maybe a labral tear of some sort. I attempted to rehab it myself. I'm actually a physical therapist, so I tried to rehab it myself, but really just never was able to completely regain function. So I eventually went on to see an orthopedic surgeon. And basically what he said was that the type of issue that I had going on was probably one of the more challenging and frustrating types of issues that they typically see. And that's the young, relatively fit and healthy, active individual with essentially an arthritic shoulder. So all of the potential injuries that I thought were there, the rotator cuff, bicep tendon, labral tear, those all checked out fine on MRI, but what I demonstrated was that I had a very arthritic shoulder for someone my age. And so there was a lot of debate as to what was going to be the best standard of care for me. What we ended up doing was going in and doing a debridement, and that was in 2019. So they just basically went in and tried to clean up as much of the frayed parts of the shoulder as they could, a little bit on the labrum, but not significant. And then they did a little bit of a posterior capsule release to try to increase my range of motion. That really didn't do a lot for me, and we weren't really sure that it was going to, but it was an attempt at something. We also did a round of PRP. I did steroid injections. Both of those gave me very short-term relief. After that, I actually went on to develop a fairly large bone spur in my shoulder, and that really limited my range of motion. I just could not get my arm overhead, could not put significant weight over my head or anything like that. And so at that point, my surgeon said that we had sort of exhausted what he would be able to provide for me. So then he referred me on to the University of Washington and that's where we decided to go ahead and do the hemiarthroplasty, or the partial shoulder replacement. And of course, we did that with the hopes of thinking that it was going to help me regain a lot of function, regain most of my range of motion, and then I'd be back to doing most of the activities that I wanted to do. Initially, things seemed to be okay. I started regaining range of motion right away. Was actually able to get my arm almost completely over my head, but the problem was it was painful. I just had a lot of pain the whole time, and every time that I would start my exercises, I felt like I was starting back at step one. I would make some progress, and then I would just fall back again, and the pain just never subsided. And so it eventually got to the point where sort of the juice wasn't worth the squeeze. It just felt like I was torturing myself for no significant gain. And so I went back to see my orthopedic surgeon, and his assessment was that, unfortunately, that surgical procedure didn't work. He also believes that I've torn one of my rotator cuff tendons, and that's part of the problem. And so his recommendation was that we move on and do this reverse total shoulder replacement. I wasn't real keen on that idea, to be honest. And so I had a consultation with another orthopedic surgeon. I actually had a consultation with a pain management specialist who specializes in stem cells. And talking to both of them, they actually both agreed that this reverse total shoulder replacement is probably the best course of action for me. So that's where I'm at right now. On the 5th of September, I'll be going in for this reverse total shoulder replacement. So just wanted to share a little bit of my backstory. I'm going to do some more pre-op videos, and then everything after that will be post-op to show the rehab process, and hopefully you'll see me doing some things that I haven't been able to do for quite some time. So if you stuck around for this long in the video, I appreciate it. The next one should hopefully be a little bit more dynamic, showing you some of the things that I'm doing pre-op, and then of course showing the post-operative rehab and hopefully regain of function. So thanks for checking it out, and look for more videos coming up soon.